going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for Proper Royals Live. I'm going solo tonight. I got a lot of stuff to cover, and I like to do these solo shows. I think this is the third one I've ever done in 18 months or so. I like to do them because it's a real test. It's a challenge. I'm nervous. I'm anxious tonight. There's no other guest to bail me out. There's no other face on the thumbnail to attract people. Be like, oh, I never, what's Adam going to talk about with that person? Well, no, it's just what's Adam going to talk about. Well, ideally with you all as well. I hope tonight in the chat, I'm going to try and keep up with all of it while I'm covering what I'm what's on my topics list. And I went like kind of crazy. I got a lot I want to cover tonight. So I want to tell y'all thanks for being here. 20 people out of the gate to come see me solo. It means a whole lot. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I think they call it a flywheel or like the circle spinning, the spiral effect. It's really been great. In the past, 2-3 weeks, my Instagram has grown by like 25% overall. I've been on Instagram about a year and a half. So for it to grow 25% in, a couple weeks, it's just outstanding. So I'm really thankful for that. And YouTube, I'm always trying different strategies and sort of testing and figuring out things. I think I know where my core kind of sweet spot is, which is this show and then my long format videos. And those take a heck of a lot of work. And as they get longer and more in depth, they take even more work. I'm finding out I still didn't put out the how much money did I make in 2022 video. It is coming. It's filmed. I do 2 runs of editing. I do 1 run of editing to get rid of all the ums, ahs, dead air. And then the second run of editing is to put in visuals so that you're not just staring at me talking the whole time, which is another challenge for tonight because it's kind of what I'm doing. So that I need the chat to bail me out. So I'm going to have to learn how to engage the camera, then engage the comments over here. Holy smokes, there's 38 of you all. Nice. Thank you for being here. So that video is coming out. But so I like doing these shows because it's a test to me. It makes me try new things. It makes me learn. It makes me hone my skills, and I can't mail it in. I hope I never mail it in when I'm interviewing people, but I certainly can't tonight. What I was saying about YouTube, trying different strategies, I finally gave in. YouTube convinced me when they said starting in February, they're going to be monetizing shorts. And I already had all the Reels content from Instagram, and I have a bunch of TikTok content. And I was like, you know what? I can remix it, regurgitate it, put different breaks in different places, change up the music, et cetera, et cetera. And I've got pretty much a ready-made library. So I started doing that. If you're not doing that, first off, let me know if you all as normal, regular subscribers, consistent subscribers to my channel are put off by any of it, because I don't want it to interfere with what usually goes on. But the other part is if you're not put off by it or you don't even notice, that means you're not being affected by it, and I'm still getting the positive results. What's up, dude? You off to bed?
Yeah. Good night, Dad.
Good night, dude. I love you too, son. I'll see you in the morning, all right? All right.
Hey, Julie. Night, Dad. Love you.
Good night, dude. Kid dive bombs my show. He knows I'm going solo tonight. So anyhow, let me know your input on that. If I miss your comment, I'm going to rewatch the show tomorrow, and I'll catch up on the comments, and I'll get back with you too. But yeah, if you're not put off by the shorts or haven't noticed them, that's a sign to me that actually it's working really well, because the reach has been really great from those shorts. So I'm not going to not do the other content. I'm not going to not do this show for sure. But if I can add something to my arsenal that adds reach, then it's working. I'm going to talk more about reach later on this show as well. Let's see. I was out on the road all weekend. I played shows in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and Punta Gorda, and I was still home by noon on Sunday. I'm beat. I'm tired. I got back in good shape, but then I was so behind on the snakes. It takes a day or two to get all the tubs and the bins caught up, and then the feeding and all of that. So I just got all kinds of a laundry list of things to cover, to go through in no particular order. Hey, huge shout out to RGen Reptiles. That's Robbie up in Greenville. So funny story. All right, one of my themes tonight is just show up, just do the work. So, and I could do a whole show on this next thing I'm about to say, but I actually engaged a social media coach, and primarily Instagram coach, and they seemed it's completely reptile centric. So I never wanted somebody to tell me how to get 8 million, followers by doing goofy dances and wearing trendy clothes. I want somebody tuned into the reptile industry, and amazingly, they've done a lot for me. Anyhow, one of the things I said was, Adam, you gotta get your engagement up. You can't just go creating content and expect everybody to come to you. This is a community, it's interactive. So there's a hint for a lot of you. If you're stagnant on Instagram, go reach out to accounts that you do like, or go seek out accounts that you like. So I was doing that as an exercise that this coach has or consultant has advised me to do. And one of the accounts that I followed was Robbie at RGen Reptiles. Swear to God, on my boy's name that just walked into the room here, I get an Instagram note. Hey, notification, you got a message from Robbie at RGen. All right, I'll accept it. I accept it. He goes, hey, you're my 3,000th follower. You and a clown, 66% het DG. When can I send it to you? I swear to God. So it was like this sign that I was supposed to be doing more. I don't really believe that God or whatever, is out there wants me to win free clowns, but just a funny, amazing thing. So he sent me tracking. I'll be picking up the clown in the morning. So Robbie and RGen Reptiles, that's RJEN Reptiles. Go check out Robbie at RGen Reptiles. I got to say, quick shout out to Jesse, Musical Pythons. He's over in the audience chat tonight. I'm going down to his place on Sunday to hang out, check out his operation. He was kind enough to come ultrasound my animals 6-7 weeks ago. And he's been a good buddy. Great vendor. Check him out, what he's got as well on Instagram, Musical Pythons. Big shout out to Jeremy Warfel. I don't know if y'all saw it. He had, I believe the gentleman's name is Robert, but the developer from Husbandry Pro was the guest on his show. Then Billy came on from his tie-in with Robert and the Husbandry Pro project. And then I didn't even get to watch it all. It's a 4-hour live. Like, I got through an hour and a half of it. Jeremy, I'm going to let you tell your story at some point, but check out Jeremy Warfel's show. Jeremy contacted, and I got to keep some of this private, but Jeremy contacted me 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and he was asking about sponsors and what strategy I had used to engage Cold Blooded Cafe and Redline Shipping. And we exchanged some Instagram notes, but nothing in depth. And I basically told him it was like asking out the hottest girl that you were ever into in high school that you thought was so far out of your league. And then doing that like 9 or 10 times. And then one time, they finally say yes. And so I don't know what the nature of their relationship is or the nature of their agreement is, but Jeremy Warfel is now sponsored by Husbandry Pro by the grace and hand of Billy. Like, talk about just showing up. Like, God, he called a shot. It was like, hey, find the people that you want to be aligned with and figure out how to make it happen. I don't know how he did it. I don't know, other than hard work and going at it. And I think every individual relationship has its own story. I know that mine do. But that was amazing. So great job, Jeremy. You've always been a huge supporter of the show here. I've been so happy to see it grow, man. If you guys don't know Jeremy, Jeremy Warfels is the name. WARFEL''S, Jeremy Warfels. So check that out. Let's see. We talked about the subscribers. Oh, the shorts. I quantified it a little bit. So in all of 2022, before I was doing shorts on YouTube, I was averaging 83 subscribers a month. Not bad. 2 and change a day. Yeah, that adds up. That's correct. In the 2 weeks that I've been focusing on producing shorts, now I've really been going 2 to 3 shorts a day on YouTube. So let's quantify it clearly. I'm on pace for 274 subscribers per month. It's triple. It's more than triple. It's a booming pace. So it's really effective. I want to see if there's any negative effects. Let me know if you've seen any ill effects. You can, if you're watching this afterwards on the replay, put them in the comments down below. Oh, this is a great story too. Like I say, I'm just kind of going through a laundry list of catch-up items that never really fit into a traditional video. And then when I have a guest on, I can't just be talking about like what I've got going on all night. I think I told you all I did an interview with Robin Markland from REDLINE Shipping, and yeah, it's that one there. That logo up top, Robin is who started that. He's been a longtime player in the reptile industry, hugely influential. And no spoilers from the interview, but it really just an incredible interview. I've got that coming out as soon as I get this other video edited, but that's made. But Robin gave me one of just the best compliments ever, and I'll tell you the quick story, not because I'm bragging, because it's about you all. It's not about me. I didn't do anything. I mean, I conveyed a message, but I didn't do anything. So Robin Markland is a partner, and I don't know if I can say the brand, so just trust me that I'm telling the truth, and maybe Robin will chime in sometime or other. He has a partner, an advertising partner. It's not his company. That has grown. It's a brand you all would know immediately in the reptile industry. It's not a snake breeder, but it is another animal breeder. And they are going to do something like 18 million in revenue this year. And Robin is their shipping partner. They ship 5,000 to 7,000 packages a week. So let's just call it, what, 900 a day, 1,000 a day. And Robin pays to have a flyer go in every one of their packages. Every one of them, 1,000 a day. Robin said, and they have their own promo code. Robin says the Proper 5 promo code has blown them out of the water. Now, if you're buying a product from them, you're probably not a shipper, et cetera, et cetera. However, the sheer scale and scope of who they're reaching is far beyond what I'll be able to. You guys did that. Like, Robin was like gushing to me. He was like, I got to tell you, Adam, he goes, I liked your persistence. You kept banging on my door. You kept asking what it would take or what you would like to see. He goes, we just made that promo code thing up. We were just like, let's just see what's going to happen. And he says that by far, Proper 5 is the most redeemed code. I know that so many of you all have been a big part of that, and I know that it's only a one-time code. I don't know how to spin it to Robin, but I promise you I'm working on another round of those, of another code or to re-up it, to reset the Proper 5 code for the results that you all have given and the interaction that you've brought. And I've done my part. I got eyes on his product. Like, that's what a sponsor's supposed to be about. And it's a killer product. So I don't mind bragging about it. Bragging about his product, not anything I've done, but that's what you guys did. Like, Robin was like legitimately blown away. Here's just this dude in his garage and that he had never heard of. And he was like, what do we have to lose? Give the guy a promo code. Let's see what he can do. So I'm really, really grateful to you all for that. Like, huge congratulations to this community. It's really cool. Thank you very much. Look, I got one other thing to finish up on, and then we'll get to the show topics that I had posted, and so stick around. So I'll give you a show update. I've done a couple shows recently. I've had my ears to the ground, at least here in Florida, and today's the last day of the month in January, so I'll talk a little bit about revenues, pace, what I'm seeing in shows in the industry and that kind of thing, what I'm hearing as well from actual other vendors. So I'm going to share all that with you. Then I want to, I want to talk about a brief theme, and it's going to tie in, but a theme, I heard a term called unreasonable hospitality, and I loved it. It's about just going overboard, going crazy with hospitality. But I want to tie that into, I think I'm going to take a stab at this Patreon thing. If you've watched me for a long time, you know I'm not real hot on the idea. I've come to the idea that if I have something to offer, or I want to see if I have something to offer, I'm ready to try it. So I want you all to book what my Patreon account would look like. So, and you know, in any kind of cult group, you know, Star Wars, pro wrestling, I'm sure Lord of the Rings, or all sorts of, anime. People fantasy book things. What if this happened and we could do this and we control this? And it's just a fun exercise. So I want you guys to fantasy book my Patreon. So in the chats, you could start thinking about things that you would like to see me offer that you think would bring value in a Patreon setting. I would appreciate it. By the way, guys, I can't keep up with all the comments and engage in the camera. I promise I'm going to a little bit later in the show. But I see a lot of new names. Thank you all so much for checking it out. Please know I'm not great with all the shout outs and everything, but I see you here. 52 people here to see me solo is like chills, like moving, like personally moving. So thank you very, very much. So we're going to fantasy book my Patreon tonight. And then I just got a few of these keep showing up ideas and stories. That theme is just going to run through. So that's on the docket. This Peter Call thing, I get it. I'm not the guy to lead the discussion. I'm done. I gave my my brief statement specifically on certain things last week. I want to tell you, but and I'm torn on this and I'm conflicted. I've heard from many people in our communities of color within our industry that it's not my discussion to lead. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. No ifs, ands, or buts. So maybe this part's to not the people of color. And so stick with that. That means white. That's difficult language for, hey, white folks, let's listen up for a second here. I'll tell you the story, and this is why, and to the people of color, this is why it's important to me, because I think I have to state that not only are you welcome here, anybody who wants to behave in the way that Peter Call did, and maybe he's changing, maybe he's fixing himself, but the way that person behaved in that moment can't be here. Band I toured with, the Peelers out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. They're setting up in a bar in Montreal one evening, and it's early in the night because the show's later, but as a band you load in and then it's just hurry up and wait. You get set up, you wait, and then you go on later. And while the band is setting up, guy walks into the bar, good looking guy, well kept, very, very polite, wearing this jacket, patches, all that, sits down at the bar, orders a drink. Bartender picks up the baseball bat, points it right at his head, very clearly, says, get out now. The guy says, what? I didn't do anything. Cuts him off. Says, get out now. Get out of here. Guy says, okay, I'm out. Leaves. No problem. Done. Scene's over. Bass player from the Peelers goes to the bartender and goes, what was that? What kind of place are we in? What is that? The guy said, those were white power patches all over that guy's arm. And the bass player, I'm not making him the bad guy here, but I think he kind of said, well, he wouldn't cause any trouble. And the guy said, the bartender, he says, if you let one hang out and you let him be comfortable and you normalize him, the people that aren't wearing the patches start to come and hang out. And then the people with more patches come. And then more people that are more brazen come. And then suddenly you got yourself a Nazi bar. And that's why I think I got to speak up. Then I'll be done with it. I'm done with it now. That's all I wanted to say, is that in the analogy, this won't be the Nazi bar. Okay? That's it. I'm done with it. Thank you all so much. We'll get on with letting our actions speak and being a great community that we are. But I really wrestled with how to put that into the proper analogy and the proper words. So thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate you. Anybody that wants to carry on the discussion with me offline, I'm okay with that too. I definitely am interested in people's opinions. They got to be healthy. They got to be respectful. If people think I should have done that a different way, no matter what angle you're coming from, what community you're coming from, my heart's in a good place. At least you know that. If I could have done better or different, please let me know. Cheers. Now, 51 people. Reptile Shows update. So yeah, sorry guys, I needed some water there, and I didn't know what the comments were going to look like. Tito's a good buddy of mine, but you know, yeah, in punk bars it does happen a lot. Force has to be met with force, man. That's it. Doesn't have to be violence. There was clear expectations set. You out now. That's it. That's all that was needed, you know? So cheers, guys. Let me see. So thank you all. I thanks. That's a relief. Like I say, on we'll go. I vended the Show Me Snake show in Jacksonville January 14th, so 2.5 weeks ago. And then I vended the Orlando Repticon the very next weekend. I tried to play it a little bit close to my chest, but I was I had pretty strong feelings about both of them. The Show Me Snake show, just to get really quantifiable numbers really fast, I sold one snake for $125. It was a female Enchi pastel het clown. I assure you, the grandmother that bought it for her young boy would not know what an Enchi het clown or pastel is. I'm thankful for their sale. I don't take it for granted. And actually, I hope that kid loves it, and I hope he grows up loving reptiles. But that was a lot of work. It was a one-day show, $125. Fast forward the following week down to Orlando Repticon. And so we'll just start with the money, because that's what everybody's interested in. We'll talk about the money, and then I'll talk about kind of the difference in the shows, and then some interesting context with other business too. So on the Orlando show's 2-day show, and I hit on the nose, right on the button. I hit $1,000 in revenue. So pretty good. Not quit my job good, but like $1,000 slinging snakes and having fun like that. Yeah. Sign me up. I'm in, man. That's cool. But here's what happened. Couple interesting, I guess, strategies. Like say, I'm always trying out different things, seeing what works, how to fix that up. I just on a whim, I sent out. So in Florida, you have to have an inventory list that FWC can inspect at the show, and it's got to match your animals and blah, blah, blah. So I had the spreadsheet already drawn up. I exported it as a PDF, and I trimmed the prices off of it, just the animals in the year and whether they were on ASF or frozen thawed. And I posted that on Instagram, I think on Friday morning. The show was Saturday and then Sunday. And Friday, I sold a snake that day. And then Saturday after the show, I don't know if Drago's still in the audience, and he's been an awesome dude to me, so I don't mind sharing. I'm not going to throw any numbers out. But what ended up happening was I sold a snake Friday. Saturday, Drago buys a snake from me, and thank you so much. And then that night, I'm sitting around the fire at my buddy's house in Orlando, drinking some red wine, and somebody else buys a snake from Instagram. So all weekend, I actually hit $2,000 from just show promo and that list. So I was posting pictures from the show. Drago, if you're out there, where did you find my, hey, Byron, I got your message today. I was working. I got it. You're on. I promise you, man. Thank you. Jago, if you're out there, I don't know if it let me know if it was the list that you saw or if it was the pictures that I was posting from the show. But the multimedia, the sharing from the show, all of that came together. And like I say, I did 2,000 that weekend. So it sounds bigger, more is better, right? So it sounds better to say I sold 125 and 2,000, but that's not exactly accurate. So show to show, 125 and 1,000. And then I had a really good weekend, 2,000 overall. I talked to another breeder that I would say is bigger than me for sure. Not would say, they absolutely are, but not one of the big dogs. Not anybody on the local, not Dale, not George, not Steve Casino, not Jeremy Bod. They vended Sarasota this weekend, and they said it was fantastic. They said it was better for them than Orlando was. I didn't get any exact numbers, and plus they sell different. They sell. They've got boas, they've got ball pythons, they've got quite a few things. So I'm not. I don't know that it's apples to apples, and it's certainly not, reliable as far as like, oh, well, time to get back on the show circuit. But they were extremely excited about it, and they're show regulars. They do these shows a lot. They're not like me, just out of the gate, like, woohoo, crushed it, I'm in forever kind of thing. 60 of you. Unreal. Unbelievable. Thank you. So that was Sarasota. What was interesting to me, and I asked them, and I don't know their opinion, so I'm not going to put words in their mouth. But I asked them, I said, well, do you think a small market show where the big dogs aren't provides more opportunity for you? And as I'm typing it, I'm going, oh yeah, I just did $125 in Jacksonville that none of the big guys were at. So I can't say that that's a strategy. I don't know. You're gonna have to conclude whatever you can of your own. I got a on the ground vendor report from Pembroke Pines, which is North Miami, I believe, from 2 weeks. I think it was the weekend, same weekend as the Show Me Snakes show here in Jacksonville. Initial report was that it was slow. Sunday, it was booming. They were, by the end of the day on Sunday, they were very pleased, very happy they had done that. So I don't know, but I can't tell you to rely on anything other than to say that it's out there. Again, I love the idea of just showing up. If I'd quit after the $125 show, I wouldn't be nearly as optimistic about shows. So I'm thoroughly optimistic about that. And by the way, I got so wrapped up last week, both in the drama and in just being excited for Jessica joining the show from the Holdback Rack podcast. Huge shout out to Shannon Peck. Shannon, followed my advice, and he found somebody that would let him come vend and come work and learn the ropes. And that was me. Shannon came and vended with me, and I really appreciated it. It was great. He and I have a very different style. I'm a little more laid back when it comes to active selling in person. I'm not, in my days as a server at a table or a bartender or even a sommelier, I'm a little bit more like put the knowledge and the product out there and let them make their decision. Man, Shannon was engaging. Shannon wanted a sale, and he got one, man. I was so happy, so thankful. So huge shout out to Shannon. Also, Jeremy and Holly from Snakes for the Memories were my booth mate, so to speak. We each had our own table, but they were right next door, and they are going to be the guest on the show on February 14th. We're going to do the Valentine's Day episode with those two lovebirds. How awkward is that going to be? I'm joking about Valentine's Day. That's going to be great. Jeremy and Holly, they were really, I've seen their stuff on YouTube, but I didn't really know them. And you just know somebody better when you see them off camera. I'm sure those of y'all that do know me off camera, it's a little different persona. I think it's me, but it's still a mask. It's still a persona. Jeremy and Holly will be on. Okay. So my market in general recently, as far as my own snake sales, has been the best. The past 2 months have been far and away the best 2 months I've ever done. I've done more in revenue in the past 2 months than I did in the whole of my first year breeding. Now, I only had 2 clutches that first year. So again, not apples to apples, but December and January have been fantastic. I don't have the exact number. I didn't look up what I did in December, but I believe the total is at minimum 5,000 I did in those 2 months. So some of y'all sell $5,000 single snakes. Others of you all would be like me in my first year, where 5,000 isn't what I would do all year. I'm not saying it to brag. I'm not saying it to complain. I'm just saying it as fact. I personally am thankful for it, and I'm very happy where I'm at. My goal this year was to get to 45,000 in the whole year, and I assume that my end of year will be very heavy because that's when I should have all new hatchlings and new inventory, et cetera, and exciting pairings and things that are are just going to put me on a new level should I hit some various goals. So that would mean that I need $3,750 per month as of tonight. I actually did just sell a snake. Shout out to Casey. Thank you so much, Casey, if you're still watching. He's a repeat customer too. This repeat customer stuff is legit, guys. Take care of your customers. I got to, I think 31.25 is where I've landed for the month. So short of 37.50, which is what the pace is that I've got to average for the whole year. But for January, a typically slow time. Pretty happy with my market and what's going on right now for me. So what are you guys seeing in the market? What are you seeing? I know that the narrative out there is that we're in a recession and times are hard. Things are more expensive. We got inflation, we got uncertainty in various things. One thing I'll tell you is that I do watch the stock market, and typically the stock market rebounds before the greater economy does. And when I say typically, I mean like always coming out of dips or recessions. The market was up now. Yeah, today's the end of it. Today's the end of the month. It's done. The markets are closed. The market was up 4% in January. So I'll tell you, across history through recessions, depressions, everything, the history of our economy, the stock market averages about 8%. So to do 4% in 1 month is remarkable. So I don't know, maybe there's daylight here. I know there's a lot of uncertainty, and I know that like you can't even look at the news or read the headlines. You don't know where to go. So take it step by step, day by day, and be careful. Don't go crazy. Don't go in debt, and keep some money on the sidelines and all that good sort of thing. But I think that I think it's out there to be gotten. I'm working hard at it. That's not quit my job money yet. I got a little ways to go, but there you go. There's the market that as I see it. So. Man, it's overwhelming being one person trying to watch the comments and speak at all, to speak intelligibly. So maybe I'm not as excited into the comments as I thought I would be able to be. Yeah, Straight Blast says, and I've heard it before, tax returns are about to drop. Time to sell some snakes. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I believe that's Jim. I'm with you. And on the heels of that Repticon show, my calendar's over here is why I keep looking over here. I'll be at the Tampa Repticon show the 25th. I booked a gig. I have a gig at my best paying pub that I have to go to. I've asked to transfer that date, to swap that date with somebody. If I can, I'm going to go beg a table from somebody and try and bend the Tampa Repticon. But if I can't, the following weekend, I will be at the Lakeland Fire Show, Florida International Reptile Expo. I've learned is what FIRE stands for. And then the following week, March 11th, will be the Jacksonville Repticon. So I want to see the difference between the Jacksonville Repticon and the Jacksonville Show Me Snake Show. One topic I didn't talk about in the last segment, that Show Me Snake Show was parents and kids, not collectors, buyers, breeders. Man, I've joked, but you could have crowd surfed out of that place on those kids, man. I'm sure there were breeder buyers in there. If I do, I'm not saying if, I'm going to do another Show Me Snake show because it's at least in Jacksonville, at least in my own backyard, I should be a presence. But when I do, I'm going to hire my son, and we're going to bring our coolest non-breeder male snake, and he's going to stand over there with it. And anybody that wants to touch and hold a snake can go see Charlie, and I will deal with the buyers. So that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to bridge that gap across both those bridges. So like I say, I'll be at least hanging out the Saturday of the Repticon Tampa show. Hopefully I'll be vending if I could swap my gig. If not, oh well. And then in March, Lakeland on the 4th, Jacksonville Repticon on the 11th. And then if you're just crazy and want to get out on St. Patrick's Day, I'll be doing a 2-night stand for St. Patty's Day weekend with a band. I'll be fronting the band this year. I got to think of a name. It's right now. It's like the Adam Shira Trio. That's boring, right? I got to think of a name. Anyway, St. Patty's Day week, I'll be starting at the Stout Snug here in Jacksonville, then the 17th and 18th at the Celtic Ray in Punta Gorda. The next topic, my theme, this idea, this thing that I came across, it was, I think it was Gary Vee, but he was citing another article or another book. I believe somebody wrote a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. And, oh, you know what? I know exactly what it was. It was on Gary Vee, and it was on a show that he does called Marketing for the Now. And it's a live show with CEOs. And this particular gentleman he was talking to was a restaurateur. And the name of his book was Unreasonable Hospitality. And basically his proposition, his thesis is, you got to go above and beyond. Look how many of us, there's 55 people here right now. I bet a big majority of us, while we hang out and we're the community, we are in some ways each other's competitors. I bet half of y'all are selling snakes on Morph Market or in your communities or somewhere or another, because, birds of a feather, we're going to attract each other. And I'm sure that's who the audience is. So how do we separate ourselves from each other? And, this guy, and this is nothing new, like going above and beyond, great customer service, blah, blah, blah. I say that, but here's the crazy thing. I was reading on the Morph Market forum. Somebody said, hey, what payment types does, I'm trying to do my homework, getting ready for these shows. And somebody asked, what payment types does everybody take? You wouldn't believe the number of responses that were something like, cash only. If they want the snake, they'll figure it out. What? Have you looked around the room? Do you see all the other breeders? They're selling the same things you are. It's not like you're just demanding cash. Like, who do you think you are, man? Like, what a crazy thing. I get it. I mean, I get it if cash only is your thing and your IRS reporting and blah, 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 but don't put that back on the person. Feel like, hey, I'm just a crazy guy that'll only take cash, not like if you want it, you'll figure it out. Yeah, they're going to figure it out. They're going to go somewhere else, man. So it was a little bit strange to me, and it made me think of that idea of, unreasonable hospitality. Shannon will vouch for me. There was a couple that was at the show, and I was going to say, I think I know exactly what it was. It was a male Mojave hatchling. I don't even remember the price. 125, 150. Oh, it was a hypo. I was Mojave hypo hatchling male. And yeah, I think it was 150. And the people, they clearly liked it. They're a young couple. They clearly liked it. I started talking to them. Hey, do you have any snakes? Hey, we do. We want to work it for this and for that. And they said, but we'll be back tomorrow. And like a good salesman, I was like, oh, if you really want it and you're really coming back tomorrow, why don't you just put something down, non-refundable? We got witnesses here. You can sign your name on on the chalk marker, put it right on the bin. And they said, no, I gotta come back tomorrow. And I was like, put something down, $25. Like, I'll hold it for you, kind of thing. And they graciously said, no, we really like it. And I kind of saw a twinkle in the girl's eyes. And anyway, I said, you know what? I'm not trying to pry, but what's going to change between today and tomorrow that's going to allow you to buy that snake? And she said, well, a stack of cash at home. I said, all right. I said, I'm trying to do this for a living. Just for some context, I told her, I said, but if you want that snake, I want you to have that snake. On your word, and knowing that this is what I want to be doing for a living, and it'd be really horrible for you to waste my time, will you be back for that animal? She said, yeah. I said, market sold. Come back tomorrow, and I want it to be yours. I didn't know if they were going to come back. And I will tell you, I know many people on Morph Market never come back. I get it. They came back. They bought that snake from me, and it felt good. And I'm happy to be able to tell the story. And those two, we became friends on Instagram and fans and chatted back and forth. And in a big, crazy circle of events, Jesse Music, he ended up selling them a snake, I believe, that second day as well, which was great. Like I couldn't be happier for us both to get a sale and for it to go to such a cool couple that's coming up in the industry. I hope they tell that story about me 15 times, man. Like, that's, to me, that even if they had never come back, was I going to miss out on $150? and have all day to Sunday to sell it, like I would have figured it out. Let's see. I also, I do payment plans. I'll help people out on payment plans. Basically as long as people realize that the payments are non-refundable and they keep me up to date on what's going on, I'm probably okay on the payment plan. So try me if you want to. I would say on this unreasonable hospitality mindset, try not to be transactional. In a transactional world, try not to be. So what do I mean by that? Just do good for doing good. Like I wanted that couple to have those snakes. That was the transaction I wanted. I didn't go, hey, I'll do this if you promise to tweet me, chat me, at me, whatever, however all the social media stuff works. I told you I need a coach. I got a coach. I didn't make it transactional that way. I tried to just do it because it was good. I didn't want the $150, yes. But I had to have faith. I had to have trust. I had to make it, an honest effort that I was just happy for them to do it. And it worked. It was good. So I don't know what the ripple effects will be. Maybe nothing. There was no part of the ripple effects that were transactional. So that would be my advice is don't be transactional. If somebody's looking for a snake that you don't have, but another breeder that does, walk them over to that breeder. Like, first, you're going to get a happy person that's going to remember you helped them out. Secondly, if that breeder has better ass snakes than you do, maybe they're going to help you out too. Who knows? Again, don't be transactional about it, but good things happen. Just be the guy and the woman who do good things, right? Somebody I was talking to, and I don't know who, and I apologize, I don't remember. This is back before Christmas. On Instagram, they were in a rut with sales. They were kind of thinking, like, what's the point kind of thing. And they said, like, how am I ever going to compete with Justin? And I said, I don't think you have to compete with Justin. I think the market's big enough. I think there's enough people. There's space for clearly more than Justin. Why not you? A great pep talk. Fine, Adam. But then the next thing I said to this person was, what can you do that Justin can't? And they're like, I don't know. What are you talking about? And I'm like, how many customers do you have this year? And it was a handful, 7, 8, 10. I said, why don't you send 7 or 8 or 10 of those people, every one of them, a thank you email telling them how appreciative you are of at the holidays as you look back on the year. And think about it that way. Justin can't do that personally to every one of his customers. What can you do different that nobody else is doing? Justin's clearly a good dude. I'm using him because of his magnitude. I'm not talking down to the guy. And it was funny because I said that, and then like clockwork, Stephen and Courtney, they are great at this sort of thing. They sent me, I got a Christmas card from them in the mail. Alan at Creme de la Clutch, he reached out to me over the holidays and just said, hey, thanks. Great for doing business this year. That kind of thing. Other examples that I've experienced of unreasonable hospitality. I don't know, Brandon, if I put it this way, Brandon Nixon has been incredible to me, and he's never once said, hey, I'll do this, but you shout me out or this or that or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I like transactional arrangements. I have sponsors, I have people that pay me, I pay them, blah, blah, blah. But from a community colleague camaraderie standpoint, Brandon Nixon hooked it up, man. And same with Jeremy Bod. Jeremy, some of our arrangements have been transactional, but he's just been a good dude. Bod's Exotic Reptiles. Same with Jeannie and her crested geckos. Charlie, my son that you saw in the frame at the very beginning of the show. If you didn't see it, you can go back and see a little family time. They've been great to me. And it really, again, would be sort of an unreasonable hospitality example. The example that the guy that wrote the book shared was, so he runs just this incredible restaurant brasserie in New York City, one of the most famous ones. And pretty much his clientele consists of people that money is just not a problem. There's no object. There's no issue, whatever, just get me it kind of deal. So he's working the dining room, And he hears these people lamenting that they've done all the amazing places in New York City. It's been such a phenomenal foodie trip. And they were leaving in the morning. It's very late at night at that point. And they were lamenting that they hadn't tried one of the street vendor hot dogs. Guy sends one of his staff out to the street, buy me, X number of hot dogs. And by the way, give the guy $200 extra because he's working hard out there too. And we're about to make some money. So he did the right thing, buys these street vendor hot dogs, takes them to the chef and says, make the craziest hot dogs that these folks could have possibly ordered in New York City. And let's fulfill their final, kind of destination. And he brought them the hot dogs and it blew them away because they didn't expect it. Somebody cared enough to do it. At that point, it wasn't even about the hot dogs or the taste of the hot dog. It was that somebody cared enough to take action and to make somebody else's kind of vision or dream or wish come true. So I think that's how you could separate yourself. There's my thoughts on unreasonable hospitality. That leads into, I want your help on Patreon thoughts. This is where I'm going to try and talk and still read the comments, which is going to be tough to do. So let's see how we do. I promise I will reread these. Beast Morphs brings up a great point. I don't even know the context of it. When they ask about revenue, remember that's what you bring in. That's not the profit line. That's exactly right. Also, I would extend that even further. That's not even cash flow, because if you have debt that you owe, if you have payment plans, if you have people on payment plans, cash flow doesn't always match revenue, and that certainly doesn't mean profitability. So please don't take any of my numbers to think that I'm, pulling the Scrooge McDuck here and just swimming in 3,000 singles. It's not the case. And I dive into that topic on my video that will be coming out shortly about the money that I made in 2022. We actually get into revenue, expenses, cash flow, profit. And the last thing too is the asset column, which is a whole other part of business, but that's not what today is. But Beast Morphs, I always appreciate you being here. And like I said, I missed what the context of that was, but you're exactly right. There's far more to it than just the money coming in. So Patreon, I feel like this is a safe space to ask this because it's my show, and I didn't mean that the way that it sounded. But you all have been a great community from, like I say, from supporting me all along the way to 50 of you still being here. I'm an hour in of yapping by myself, and there's 50 of you. So thank you. So you all know me, and most of you all probably aren't first-time viewers. Those of you all are, I'm hugely grateful for you. But I'm immensely grateful for the community that we've built. So here's my thought on Patreon. I think I have to go two ways at it, and I have to go two extremes is what I think. Sorry, let me back up. So my career, restaurants, y'all know this, blah, blah, blah. I wear my chef coat. You've seen this. If you haven't seen it, there you go. That was the short version, 27 years restaurants. The past 17 years I spent in private clubs, two of which were exceptionally upscale. And one of them a little bit more blue collar, everyday Joe resort / membership community. Why am I telling you this? Because Patreon is essentially a membership community. So I always challenged my teams and our boards and our general managers. Why would anybody be a member here? What do you get here that you don't get anywhere else? So that was the rhetorical question that we would always seek to answer. And that would be sort of our mission statement. And I think that's what I had to ask myself on Patreon that I never could quite answer because I didn't feel legitimate. When I say I didn't feel legitimate, I didn't feel that I had enough education or knowledge or context or any of those things to share to rightfully charge people. And many of you might say you don't anymore. And that's okay. I mean, that's harsh. I know you'll probably say it nicer than that. But I want to try it. I want to find out, because when I started this show, let me tell you, there was a ton of people that told me I had no business being on YouTube. So I'll figure it out. And maybe I didn't then, but I had a vision of where I was going. And I feel that way a little bit about Patreon. So the first thing is, what would you get from me that you wouldn't get anywhere else? And, you know, I teed up that unreasonable hospitality, but really the answer is you get me. And that sounds cocky, so hear me out. I don't mean it cocky. What are my strengths? I'm pretty darn good at numbers and seeing how businesses work and seeing what opportunities are where, increasing efficiencies. That really is the name of the game in food and beverage. It's not hard to cook a burger. It's very hard to open a restaurant, staff it, buy the grill, get all the utilities paid, and then sell a burger, and then make money on top of it. And then in the best times ever, our best margins were between 10 and 12%. If that's the best times, imagine the harsh times, right? So I'm pretty good on finances. I'm really, really good at bringing teams together, at really good at I don't know, motivating is the right word, because I don't want to be your motivational speaker, but I want to be in a place that creates excitement for what our collective goal is. Restaurants are a team sport. They're like football or basketball. If we all succeed, then we've won. If only one person succeeds, we rarely win. And so I think that could be part of an asset in my Patreon world of setting up a community space where those sorts of like-minded people come together, and in a small batch group at a higher tier, they succeed, we succeed together. I'm very good at setting goals. I'm not great at meeting them all the time, but I think goals and accountability are incredible. And again, in a small setting, in a high tier of Patreon, relatively high tier of Patreon, setting, following, reviewing goals would be a real asset. And earlier when I was talking about finances, I mean truly like reviewing and coaching Patreon members on their finances, one-on-one time, that kind of thing. Now that's not cheap, and I would have to figure out what price point that would be. And part of the pricing would have to be what would make it worth my while to do. So I got to figure that stuff out. So that would be on one end, on the very high end of extremes. So the high end of personalized one-on-one time with Adam, monthly group meeting with only the people in that highest tier. Maybe we cap it at 5 people. And then I'm really good with relationships and brands. So maybe I start bringing in some of these brands or ambassadors from those brands that I have good relationships with. Maybe we're all at a point where we need a tax guy. Maybe I bring my tax guy in that I'm comfortable with and could vouch for. Maybe I bring in this social media consultant that I'm working with. Robin Markland from shipping. I don't know if he would. I'm just throwing his name out there. He's who just messaged me on that ding. So that's my thought. One-on-one time with Adam, monthly meeting, all together, kind of jam session where we review finances and goals in a group setting. Obviously, anybody in a Patreon setting would be, you know, priority to animals, priority access to me, group chats, all those community things that a lot of people do, but that I can't say you wouldn't get anywhere else. What you would get is like-minded people that are attracted to me or to this community or this room that we have right now. So that I think is, you know, some pretty neat stuff. Another thing I'm very good at, both from the music standpoint and restaurants and business standpoint, is setting up a very creative environment. Music, it's easy to understand the creative environment. In a restaurant, though, or a business setting, again, how are you going to separate yourself from other people? You got to be creative. Private club world is all about the events and the menu. What innovative events are we doing? What innovative menu ideas are we doing? That's a skill that can be learned. Creativity, some people are born with it, but creativity alone is hard. Creativity in a group is a skill that can be taught. And I think I could bring that to the table. Maybe we can have like green room pre-show jam sessions with the guests that want to do it. Like you could get not quite one-on-one time, but 4 or 5 on one time with our guests, as long as they wanted to participate before the show. And then social media cooperation, collaboration in social media is a huge driver and a huge way to get to advance and to move forward. So I was thinking that could be part of that upper tier. So all of what I've talked about so far would be one bucket, and that would be the premium bucket. And that would be a lot of money. I mean, I don't have a better way to put it. I mean, for me to head up, say we capped out at 5 people, for me to do, what would that be? 10 hours of one-on-one a month. So 1 2-hour session each. Prepping for those sessions. So if I'm reviewing your finances, giving you professional insight on that, then if I'm coordinating the meetings, the group meeting, and moderating the group meeting for, a 2-hour session with a guest of honor kind of thing, that starts to add up, man. That's 12 to 15 hours before I get into my own cost of doing business, operating the Patreon, replying to emails, inquiries, blah, 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 all that stuff. So that would come at a price. At the other end would be a wide open, no cap. I think this is me talking out loud, for a very inexpensive amount. I'm talking like $3 to $5 a month. So you could still get priority access to animals, and I would have to bring some other perks. And there's one idea that I'm not ready to let it. I got to keep it close to the vest here. I've been working with a tech guy at Wes. I saw him in the audience earlier. I've been working with Wes on some of the technical ins and outs of what I want to pull off. But that would be a all access feature that through the magic of technology that I could bring to you. And like I say, that'd be maybe $3 $5 a month, or maybe the first 100 people would be $3. And then if more came after, then it'd be $5 a month or something like that. So what do you all think? What do you think of those ideas? On that high tier, I made a note. I mean, it's going to be expensive to offer that. I think after starting on the 3rd month, every monthly subscription gets banked into a store credit. So the first 2 months, I need a little something to keep the lights on and to get paid above for my time if I'm truly bringing value to you. But after the first 2 months payments, everything after that goes into credit bank is really what I'm thinking. So then, if you like the projects that I'm working on and you want access to those, that's probably a pretty good incentive right there. Plus, if you have to glean some more information from me, or the scene that I can create along those 5 people and myself, we can really elevate each other and hold each other accountable to following all of our goals. What's the value there? What do you like on that? So I'm sure some of you all have been commenting, and I'm going to have to go back and read those. Leviathan Snake, Stephen or Courtney, I'm not sure, both whose input I respect a lot. Membership going towards a Snake purchase, the main reason why I think the model can make sense. Other than that, I feel Patreon is a way to tip a creator that you like. That's true. And I always have this, that was always the part of the misgiving. I think I want to bring some tangible expertise or value, and I don't have that. I can't tell you I'm going to know more than, I don't know, any number of people that have a Patreon out there in the world of snakes. However, if you think that you like the way that I do business and that you click with the way that I communicate or teach and that sort of thing, maybe it's valuable to you. So I'm going to go back and read all of these and take a lot of notes, but I would love your input and your feedback. If you wanted to message me privately and say, Adam, I'm not saying I'm in, but from what you're describing, that sounds like X amount per month. I don't know where the number is that would make sense, because there's a whole lot of things that play into that too. Do I start it low and then as I prove it out, build it up? Or do I just go, hey, there's 5 slots. I need to make X amount to make this work. That's what it's going to be. And then if it fails, it fails. I'm not sure. I got to think about that stuff. So feel free, send me comments, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Let me take just a moment. Down below, you will find in the description, you'll find my LinkTree contact information. You can reach me on Instagram. If you email me, speaking of lists, this doesn't cost anything. I send out my monthly inventory list to anybody that wants to give me their email address. I won't sell your email. I don't share that. I don't, one of these days I'm going to learn how to format the email properly so that it's in the blind copy. I am guilty of that, but that's in the past. I'm working on the future. I suck at email formatting. I'm getting there though, I promise. But if you send me your email, I will gladly send you the monthly inventory list. I send that list out before those animals hit morph market. And usually I cut a little bit of a deal on there because if you found that email, you've probably watched me or supported me somewhere else. So I appreciate that. Quick, really, and it should be longer than quick, but that's why I put the banner down here. Real huge thanks to REDLINE Shipping. They are my shipping partner. I've talked a lot about Robin Markland and how well the team there has done for me. Use the promo code PROPER5 to save $5 off your next shipping label. If you missed the very beginning of the show, I am working on Robin to see if he'll reset that so that maybe you can re-up for another $5. We've been at this 3-4 months together, so he might go, well, Adam, part of the deal is that you bring me full paying customers, just all truth be told. So I'm not sure if that'll happen or not, but I will ask. You guys have done great things for me by using that, saving your money. So I'm sure he's reaped the benefits. Maybe he can kick us a little something back. We'll see on that. My other sponsor, which there's no problem with other than tonight, with only me on here, my background doesn't show where I have all of their logos, is Cold-Blooded Cafe, as you can see there on the ticker as well. Cold-Blooded Cafe, I truly think is the finest in frozen rodents. It's really weird to equate the two, but from understanding the logistics of a clean, primo kitchen, their facility for producing our animals food is really top notch. And the most important part is the quickness with which they're going from a freshly euthanized rat to a fully frozen rat. It's a matter of minutes, under 10 minutes. That's how fresh those rats are. So I've been very pleased with Cold-Blooded Cafe. I hope you'll check them out. And their promo code is CBC5. If you do me a favor, let them know that I sent you, because I don't think they have any way to quantify the value that I'm bringing to their brand or to give me feedback that it's not working, whatever I'm doing. So I'd love for you to let them know that I sent you if you do happen to go check out Cold-Blooded Cafe. Thank you very, very much on that. All right, guys, what do you want to talk about? Put your comments there, or put your topics in the comments there. And I'd love to dive in a little bit. And I'm going to talk a little bit along the way about this keep showing up. Just show up and do the work. Good things happen when you do that. And what better person than to revisit than Jeremy Warfel. Jeremy says, I have a membership thing on my YouTube channel. And from what I gather from everybody in it, they just want to help support a little, which I, as a creator, appreciate. So he's filling, backfilling on the Patreon discussion. Yeah, I think that's cool. And I'm eternally grateful. Keith at Creative Genetics dropped $5 in the tip jar earlier. That definitely goes to taking care of the animals, improving the facility, all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. Any super chats or thanks or any of those stickers do that. Yeah, Jeremy, I agree with you. And it's been very, very good for me here. I like the idea of it was a real aha moment for me when I started looking at it at like, okay, what can I truly provide? And like I say, I think that $3 to $5 tier that I'm thinking of, if I pull that off, that technological option, then I'm like I say, I got to keep it a little bit close to me. I'm pretty excited about it. And I think I don't know anybody else that's doing it. It's not proprietary, so that's why I'm not telling anybody just yet. I want to have it in place before I unveil it. It's like anything else in the world. It's not going to be who gets there first. It's going to be who does it the best. But I at least want to give myself a head start, maybe getting there first. We'll see. This idea of keep showing up. We've all heard the the cliche, just show up, just do the work, just show up. We've probably heard like our parents or our grandparents or somebody from their generation, or somebody watching this whose parents are my age. I guess I'm old enough to have, you know, I could have an adult millennial. They've probably been yelled at by some other generation, you know, just show up, just do the work, blah, blah, blah. There's truth in it though, and good things happen with it, but to quantify it, and what I really like, my message, and I think like, congratulations to John at Inquiline, just start doing the work, because what happens is you get the reps in, you start doing it better. And when I say the reps, I am talking about, you know, use the example of at the gym, when you do your reps, you're going to get you're going to strengthen the muscles that you're using to when you're doing this work. And I don't mean the physical part, but I do a little bit, but I really mean the mental part. So me and Shannon vending at the Orlando Repticon, I had a few sales repetitions under my belt from the times that Dale had been kind enough to host me, gave me my practice. I had worked out my spiel and where I was comfortable with. And it was neat to see Shannon jump in his own way and start to get his own reps. And it's the same with starting a YouTube channel. It's the same with doing a live show. It's the same of why when you're in a band, you start in your garage and then you have the guts to go book like a friend's party that's kind of a friendly audience, but you're really not that confident. And, you know, so suddenly you're getting the reps in of setting up. You're getting the reps in of, oh man, what did I forget? Like Jeremy and Holly at Snakes for the Memories bailed me out a couple times at the show. Oh, I forgot. I don't remember what I forgot. Scissors or something, who knows? Actually, I should say better than who knows. I kept, and I keep a checklist and I added it to my checklist, but I think there were 2 or 3 scenarios of something I'd forgotten that got added. But now that I've done that, I've had those reps, the next repetition, I'm going to be better at what I'm doing. So it's not just showing up. It's not, don't show up to get your teeth kicked in a horrible job. Show up to do the work, to learn and to do the reps and to get those reps in and the repetition stronger and better. And I would say that to anybody in almost any industry. I'm working with a client right now whose restaurant team has never sold a bottle of wine. And here I come and I say, guys, here's our new tier. We just rolled out a new menu, a new brand. We can't sell a $35 steak, not snake. We're not selling any snakes in the restaurant. Steak. And then tell them that our only wine is either a house red or a house white for $4. It doesn't match, right? You don't sell a $2,000 snake and then tell somebody, well, yeah, here, use the here's this $8 thermostat from Amazon. That should do the trick. No, it might do the trick, but that's not what you want to put out there and to sell, right? So they were very overwhelmed about selling the wine. And I said, guys, you're in a private club. You know who your best friend, you know who your kindest audiences are. Start with them. You got to try and sell it. You're going to get 3 times the revenue for 1 time of the work. You work on tips, man. Sell the higher stuff. Take the order for the other if you want, but sell the higher stuff. Get the reps in, do it. If you're on the fence about vending, go without, you don't have to pay any overhead. Find somebody to let you vend with them. You got to build those relationships. I've told plenty of people no, like it's the strangers walk up to me. Hey, can I vend with you? No, I don't quite know you yet. But the opportunities are out there. Get the reps in, just show up, keep doing the work. I can't expect every show to go from $125 to $1,000 on the next show, but I was just so fulfilled that good things happen when you keep showing up, and that's how I feel on this show as well. Yeah, great question. Bold Coast Exotics. First, welcome. I'm not sure if I've seen you on the show before. Thank you so much for being here. So applying that to content, where's the line with quantity versus quality? I don't know. I can't quantify that answer. Here's what I can tell you in my gut. You can always take it down if it's trash. put it up until you get it right, until you're happy with it. I had something that took me, and I'm guessing that's coming from a question of starting out or being fairly new, which I still am. But on the other hand, I'm coming up on a few years here on YouTube. I would say produce your butt off. I mean, you're going to learn new editing tricks. You're going to learn presenting. You're going to learn what format script writing works for you. You're going to learn the tricks where you want your microphone, how you want your lighting. You're going to learn all of that. And I don't know that it's worth saying, well, I got to make sure I'm putting out quality. I don't think that you do. I mean, if you're working with somebody else's brand and you're acting as their consultant or their brand manager, yeah, you probably got to have your chops up. If it's yours, say it's junk. Say in 9 months it's garbage and you're only known for the garbage that you've put out. Throw it in the trash. Start a new name. Start a new brand. I know that sounds crazy, but 9 months or 6 months goes by so fast. Think how long your shortest ball python project is. 9 months is nothing. Just start over. Hey, there's that guy. He got it right this time. You can apply the new stuff, but I think I used to think that we would just be branded like tattooed with like, oh, you suck, you're a goofball or whatever. YouTube is really, really pretty positive. Instagram largely has been. I don't know. I hear horror stories about people telling other people off in DMs or other people that have podcasts and they're like, it's just a nightmare out here. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I stay out of the drama, but I've found it by and large pretty healthy. Now, I guess if you go begging for trouble and you go starting, Jerry Springer type shows and content, you're going to attract it, but that's up to you to decide. I would say Bold Coast Exotics, I would say produce content. And as you get better, your quality is going to get better and you're going to know what you need to back off of. So for example, I've been struggling to get a video out for 2 weeks. It's a half-hour long video though. And now that I have learned all these details and what I want to be and who I want to be in terms of my videos, I'm not rushing it. I'm not putting it out. I'm going to be happier waiting, even if I'm throwing off the algorithm or whatever they say happens. And by the way, like doing the live show, I think keeps the algorithm consistency component of it happy. So I'm not saying like ignore all that stuff that you hear, but I'd say get your reps in, because as you get better, you're not gonna allow yourself to put out junk. And I'm not saying you put out junk to start with, but you get my point. As an easy explanation, we'll call what we do in the beginning junk, and that we're going to improve from that. So that would be my 2 cents on that. Stephen on the topic says quality is subjective, especially when it comes to social media. At first, I think focus on quantity until you get a feel for what works. And then, okay, hey, we seem to be on the same page. He said it. Took me about 5 minutes to say it. He said it in 2 sentences. Very good. Let me see here. Quality of information, I think, is what is key when making videos. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Jeremy knows that we're good buddies and that I have the world of respect for him. I went out of my way to message him the other night, just out of the blue after watching the show. Maybe he does. I don't think Jeremy messes with lighting. He has an animal behind him, and what you see is what you get. And he's booming. He just partnered with Billy, for Pete's sake. Like, get down to it. Get going to it. You're going to attract your crowd. Your flock is out there, and it's YouTube. Think of it this way too. What did they say in The Big Lebowski? You just got to follow the money, man. How YouTube and Google make money is connecting people that are going to engage with each other. Somehow this algorithm has figured out that 41 of you all still want to sit here 75 minutes in and listen to me yap. It's because we're each other's people, man. They found us. Here we are, and they connected us. They're going to find your people as well. John, I don't know if John from Inkleland's still in the audience. Like, John, chime in. Tell us what you're feeling. You just started. You just got going. I know you struggled with going out of the gate for a little while. and I mean, struggled with yourself to get going is what I mean. And then you made the leap. So, you know, tell me, John, chime in. So that would be my thought. Oh, this is a good point, Jason. Yeah. And yeah, everything pointed out on this is good. It also comes down to sincerity and personality. Not everybody is cut out for TV, you know, but if people like you, then you'll find your crowd and supporters. Jason, I couldn't agree more. This is challenging to put myself out there in these ways. For a long time, I didn't think I was cut out for TV or whatever. You know, do one of these. Yeah. I'm a balding 42-year-old man. I think I weigh about 138 pounds sopping wet. I've never really excelled at sports or physical, or, you know, I certainly was never paid to be a model. Yeah, be you. You're going to find people. Be yourself. It's way, way easier in life to be yourself than to try and be something that you're not. Like, whether you have a YouTube channel or not, just in life, I see and I talked to my son about it. My son's 10. I see so many grown adults that have so much stress and struggle just because they can't be themselves. And don't get me wrong, I got my own insecurities. I swear I do. But I kind of stare them down, and I like the challenge of going after them. I still struggle though. I think I've performed live exactly one song that I've ever written in my life, and I write songs. So, I mean, I get it. I got my own challenges. I'm not Superman when it comes to being in front of people or media or social media or anything like that. But you're exactly right, Jason. That sincerity piece is a huge, huge component. You're going to find them. Let me see. Oh man, you're in Maine. Where in Maine are you from? I grew up in Auburn and Lewiston, and spent a little bit of time down on the Cape Elizabeth outside of Portland growing up. My biggest goal is to create a market. I live in Maine, and it's going to be very rare that I'll sell local. I guess I just want to build to a level of trust rather than fame. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I think it's your first time in the audience, but I've said many times, I want people's hearts, not their clicks. Clicks are good. Subscriptions are good. Matter of fact, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't, please. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I want raving fans. I talked 2 weeks ago. I talked about a concept. Steven, what did I call them? Super fans? Anyhow, the idea, I don't need 1 million people. I need between 100 and 1,000 people that will spend between $100 and $1,000 a year from me. That's a lot of money, man. Like, I can't retire, but I'd probably quit most of my other work except for playing music if I had 1,000 people that would spend $100 a year with me. That's not that much. Now, I don't have 1,000 female enchies to charge, to sell for $100. So I got to go to the other end of the spectrum. I got to figure out how to get to 100 snakes that I could sell for $1,000. But that's way, way, way more feasible than going, well, I'm never going to be Barchek. How am I ever going to have 4 million followers, right? So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Bold Coast. I think that's super cool. Man, I do not Bold Coast. I see. I don't know where. I don't know where Machias is. Anyhow, Maine is full of wonderful, beautiful, small little towns. I can't wait. I'm going back this summer. I haven't been in 20 years, man. I'm going back this summer. What else? Yeah, Lauren says music isn't work. It's a lifestyle. It's impossible to give it up. Yeah, I know. There's a bad joke about a musician that drove 10 hours to play a 3-hour gig. And that guy was me. That was on Saturday, So here we go. Beast Morphs, editing videos isn't for everyone. As long as you have nice animals to show off and good things to say, then I'll watch. Yeah, that's true. And the other thing that I've started to find, once you get to a certain point, or you have a certain goal in mind, or a certain reason and rationale for wanting the goal, there's this idea that you got to bootstrap everything, and that's where the real pride comes from, right? Like, like even, and there's good reasons for some of it, but even in our own industry, build your own hats, what if I just buy the visual? Okay. So what I'm saying is you could hire somebody to do some of that for you or to coach you. Like I say, I just hired a social media guy. I'm putting too much work into social media and it's cutting into other stuff. And it's because it's not for my lack of work. It's because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not getting enough knowledgeable reps, and social media evolves faster than my old caveman restaurant guy can handle. So I need somebody to distill it down and teach me. Boom, I found the guy. I got lucky. I mean, I was incredible. It all worked, and we'll see. I mean, I'm just starting out, but I've been incredibly pleased with the journey so far. And also, it didn't hurt. This guy works, and I don't know that they want this public. So this guy works with a breeder that I bet all of us put in the top 5 of ball python breeders, and probably my 2 or 3, I guess. I mean, yeah. Anyhow, so that was a big like selling point. Like, oh, wait a minute, like, okay, you're working with serious firepower here. This is your sweet spot. I say that because you can film, send the whole content to an editor's Dropbox and say, hey, I need this done. You could do it on Fiverr. You could put up, you could go to any one of the many snake communities on Facebook, or I'm sure even on Morph Market. Just say, hey, is there any editors for hire out there? So you could do those things where, like, I mean, that's what we do. We got tax guys, because that's overwhelming to learn if you're not an expert, right? We take our cars to mechanics. We do all this stuff. Heck, we go to restaurants and eat because they could cook better than we can. We want to enjoy our life. It was taking up too much time for me and I wasn't getting as much return, but I knew it was vitally important. So I think you could do that as well, and relatively affordably, especially if it's really, really good results. So 2 cents on that. Oh yeah. Jason says, oh wait, he said that to Aaron. Well, I could tell you, I thought it was about me. My very first videos I mean, they look like I filmed them on using a cantaloupe. They're they're terrible, but I leave them up too. They're out there. You go check them out. I've got one where I'm like barking at people about using a thermostat. And of course, that's the one. I think that one's about to crack 10,000 views. It's unreal. Like that's the one, huh? Okay. So there you go. I would love for I'd love for everybody to jump in on YouTube if that's the calling. I think social media has to be the way, though. I don't know how you really do any business without social media, snake or otherwise. To steal a line from Gary Vee, if you've never checked out his stuff, check out Gary Vee's stuff on YouTube. Vaynerchuk is his last name, but just type in Gary Vee. He's guy posts like 30 pieces of content a day on YouTube. I mean, you're going to find him, but he's good. But to steal a line from Gary, we have policymakers and lawmakers concerned that democracy is going to get overthrown on social media. We as parents worry that our kids are going to be absolutely ruined on social media, but a wedding venue doesn't think that social media is the way to go versus the cost of a static billboard on an interstate. What? These are real conversations. This is real life. Gary uses an example of serial executives. In my world, it's private clubs that don't understand why their wedding venues aren't full, and they don't understand that what better way to create a social media community for each and every event than weddings is there. I mean, so I think you have to do it. So that was the reason why I brought in somebody else to help me with that on that topic. Steven says, on the content topic, I think it is good to know what your ideal goal is from the content. Do you want views or people to buy snakes? That's right. And it could be different each piece of content. Do you want to build a community? Do you want people to say, hey, this is a good dude? Do you want them to go, holy cow, I want that snake now? Yeah, have a little bit of purpose behind it. I'm not great at that yet, so I'm still in the get the reps phase on that. And the cool thing about social media is what you do good gets rewarded. So it's very quick and easy to see, oh, well, that was good. Oh, that was garbage. I'm not messing with that, right? While I'm thinking about it, and so I don't forget, next week we have Will and Audra from Flawless Exotic Creations. They're going to come back. I'm really intrigued by them. I mean, their splash their splash into the industry has been huge, phenomenal. They had the experience from crested geckos, and they made a pivot towards ball pythons. I don't think it was a pivot away from crested geckos, so maybe pivot's not the right word. Whatever the good corporate speak is, they added ball pythons. But I mean, from clothing line to taco, I mean, they maxed out their Patreon. Their Patreon's full. I think they bought their first ball python like 14 months ago or something. I mean, it's incredible. So they're going to be on. Will and Audra, a couple Flawless Exotic Creations. I believe they're in Spartanburg, South Carolina, just up the road from Robbie at Argen, and a little further up the road from Stephen and Courtney in Aiken. The 14th, Snakes for the Memories, Holly and Jeremy. One of the wittiest names around there, right? Like, they're on it. Then next, Powerline, Sam and Phil from Powerline Reptiles, Powerhouse Breeders. Holy cow, Powerline Reptiles. They will be on February 21st, 28th, KMB Reptiles. Then Abe's Exotics. I got him. He's going to be on the show. How cool. And then we'll follow that up with Jeremy and Jeannie Bod from Bod's Exotic Reptiles. As much as I talk about them, it's been a long time since they've been on the show. And so March 14th, heading into St. Patty's Day weekend, will be a great show with them. And we will have just done a couple shows together, at least, I think they'll probably do the Lakeland show, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them. Anyhow, so that's what's coming up. That is what's on the horizon. I'm just looking at the final little comments here. A feeding video may get more views than a video on how to build an incubator, but if you're trying to sell snakes to new breeders, then the latter video may work towards your goal better. Most certainly. Reaching the audience that you want is vitally important. Reaching any audience is good. It is good. But it's not gonna bring you to 1,000 people that'll spend $100 a year from you. See what I mean? That again, when I worked with this gentleman on social media, it was really, really vital that it's abundantly clear to me that he understands the reptile game. But he had to prove that before I was even. Matter of fact, I was kind of short with him to start with, and he was pretty tenacious. I was impressed. That's a great point to end the show on, though. Realize who you're trying to attract with your efforts. I want to say thank you to you all so much. 42 people, an hour and a half in, me going solo. It's been fun. I cannot wait to have a guest back by my side, much less Will and Audra. And next week, I am humbled by this community. I'm humbled by the audience. Thank you all so much. Reach out to me any way that you want. Again, the communication points are down there in the LinkTree. There's a bunch of good information in there if you just want to click it and check it out. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, occasionally TikTok. I cracked 1,000 followers on TikTok. Woohoo! Speaking of things I'm not good at, I haven't quite figured out yet. But one day I will get there, I think. And hey, thank you all so very, very much for being here. Thanks for being part of this journey and this ride. I learned how to play the intro music within StreamYard rather than uploading it every time, but I don't know how to play the outro music. You know what? I'm going to try. Maybe I just hit it again. All right. Well, if it works, I will, I'll see you next time. If not, there'll be an awkward silence and then I'm just going to say goodbye. So thank you all very, very much. I'll see you next time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. next week, same time, same place. Hope to see and hear from you in between. Cheers, everybody. Thanks so much. Good night.